right, so hello everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on how you can secure your streaming service with advanced content protection. My name is Shivashish and I'll be your host for this session today. Now, the demand for streaming content has skyrocketed in today's digital era, and with it comes the ever-growing need to have secure content from unauthorized access and piracy. The landscape of digital content distribution is constantly evolving, and while it brings incredible opportunities, it also introduces significant risks. Protecting your video content is not just about safeguarding your revenue streams, it is also about ensuring the integrity of your brand and providing a seamless and secure experience for your viewers. In this session, we'll deep dive into the strategies, technologies, and the best practices that can help you secure your streaming service against these threats. And to talk about this, we have a couple of guest speakers with us today. Our first guest today is Harish Bhat, a seasoned and certified product owner with over 13 years of experience in software industry. Harish has an impressive background in embedded software, object-oriented design, and application layer design, and has played a pivotal role in delivering innovative and secure solutions. Currently, he serves as a product manager at PallyCon, where he has been at the forefront of content protection and security. He has previously worked with the world leader in pay TV, a leading networking company, and has years of experience in media and broadcasting industry, mainly building robust security products. Welcome to the webinar, Harish. Great to have you with on Movie.
Thank you, Shivashish.
Now our next speaker is Ashish Kumar Sahu, who is a highly skilled lead engineer at Movie, where he is recognized for his expertise in backend development, architecture planning, team leadership, and creation of critical CD pipelines. He has specialization in media encoding and transcoding, audio and video engineering, live streaming, and utilizing tools like FFmpeg, Bento 4, Shaker Packer, and multiple DRM technologies. Welcome to the webinar, Ashis.
Thank you, Harish. Thank you
So,
so much.
before we get started, here is a small note to all our audiences. This webinar is divided into two parts. First is a presentation by both our guest speakers, and then there is a round of Q&A. So I would request our audiences to keep posting their questions in the Q&A box, and our guests would be happy to answer all of them towards the end of their presentation. Over to you, Harish, now.
Thank you so much, Shivashish, for the introduction and quick overview of what is the thing that is expected from today's webinar. So I'll just give a brief what are the things that we will be covering. So first we will talk about the shocking facts and figures of how the piracy in today's world or how it is changing and what are the trends as of now. Next, we will talk about the traditional methods which most of the OTT around the world are adopting it, and what is the flaw in it, and what are the consequences of it. Then, coming to the way that we have worked with our partners and our customers globally, the right way of doing it, we have seen that, and how it really helped to achieve the required goal. So we'll be talking about it, and then surely we'll touching about whether this right way is expensive or how economical and how it can be taken forward. And finally, we will mention about the use cases and some of the case studies that we'll be covering on. Yeah, so this is the agenda of today's webinar. Yeah, next let's look at the shocking facts and figures. So in a wild guess somebody might have. So what is the piracy looks like? So there is a company called as Muso which does the piracy data intelligence. So according to their report in the last year, what they published, so 229.4 billion visits were done. So across the globe where the piracies are happening, so piracy databases are checked and they count how many visits, how many people have visited it. So the numbers are really shocking. So even if this a portion of this billion has been converted, then the revenue could have been very different. So we can see that 6.7% increase is going on from 2022. So it's a gradual increase every year on year. And we see what are the contents people are pirating. So most is like the films and the TVs. So this is the trend where the TV contents are being, the web series or the episodes are being pirated and watched. And the other graph, what you can see is like, unlike the olden days, like a few 5 6 years back. So the torrents were very popular even before the telegrams and other things were there. Now with the advancement of technology and good internet bandwidth, everybody prefer the sort of a streaming platform. So the pirates have gone to extent like they have curated their own catalogs. So they have picked all the good contents across the OTT, and they have come up with their own catalogs. So we have seen that when we do the piracy audit and other thing, we have seen that people will not go on the Google and search where I can watch a latest movie. Directly they will go to that website and they know the latest contents and with high quality would be available and they will watch it. And that erodes the revenue model. Yeah. So next, let's see how the things are shaping up. Yeah, Shivashish, can you move to the next slide? Yeah. So we will mention the traditional method, the flaw and the consequences. So let's see what is a traditional method. So when the OTT launches its first stage, so what they do is they bring a put a lot of effort, bring in a very good content where it would be appealing for the masses and other things. And that time they say, so we are into acquiring phase, we want to ramp up, we need to have more customers hooked up onto our platform. So they say that they don't want any DRM, no anti-piracy because they don't have that much of money or the other things to invest onto it. And slowly once the content gets popular, then they say, okay, let's do an anti-piracy. Contents are being pirated, so what can we do on those things? Then once they try to get more contents from other vendors, the DRM is a must. So they apply the DRM, and then finally they end up with like DRM and anti-piracy. So this is a trend that we have seen for the past few years. But what is the flaw in this? So when you see the flaw is like, first when they have their contents launched to a greater extent, so they see that okay, they think that they don't need any piracy, and as a result they miss out on checking what is the level of piracy or the landscape of piracy where all their contents are floating. Next, when they just say anti-piracy, they are onto the like whack-a-mole that just keep on removing, take down wherever the contents are being available, just keep on taking it down. But it's like a cat and a mouse game that we everybody knows it in the industry. So the moment you remove from other things, there are bots which can replicate on another 104 or domains, etc. So with DRM, yes, so it does reduce the piracy to a greater extent. So without having DRM, with DRM there are a lot of difference. And next is with the DRM anti-piracy, yes, so this reduces the piracy to some extent, but it's not a foolproof. So what are the consequences because of this is like, so as initially we had started, so there will be a revenue loss anyway due to the piracy. That is a well-known thing. Then there are security risks. So security risk like the CDNs are exposed, contents from where that has been streamed, the networks are exposed, the credentials, the other things are exposed. There's a brand damage and very bad viewer experience. So when we talk about what is a bad viewer experience, the moment the content is out and if there is a very strong DRM being applied. So they might do a camcorder recording or they might do some other way of taking the content out, like the DVD sort of thing, web rape and other things, where the quality goes for a toss, the sound may not be a good. So even though the content is very rich, it may not be appealing and will lose out on its shine, all those things. The popularity will go down. So yeah, so when we have all these things, let's see, we will have a poll to understand from our customers or our participants more on this. So let's have the poll now. So the question would be like, what is the most significant challenge you are facing in preventing video piracy? Is it the high cost or the technical complexity do you see, or lack of awareness of existing piracy landscape, ineffective of current solution, or anything others? So you could mention any of those. Yeah. So traditionally when the things were launched way back in 2016 odd when the forensic watermark anti-piracy bill started tractioning. So there were companies who were thinking that only the premium guys like the Netflix and Amazon would need. But now we see the trend that it has been requested by all the OTT vendors, and even the Hollywood studios are making it stringent norms to have these things. So I think we have the sort of a tie where there are things like s- high cost of anti-piracy measures and technical complexities is what most of our viewers are ranking it out. So initially, yeah, well, I do agree the technical complexities and other thing. But with PallyCon, what we are trying to do is simplify those things, make the things simpler in a streamlined way where there is no much code to be done. Integration is very less. So yeah, so these the technical complexities as most of the companies are trying to overcome and make the things more simpler. But as and when there is a new device, new Android version, new iOS, new things of vulnerability, the things keep evolving. But then yes, the companies are on their toes to make the things much more simpler for our customers and the vendors as well. So there is one on the others as well. So Sivashish will be waiting some more time for this poll. So yeah, so this is a tie-up about the anti-piracy measures and the technical complexities. So yeah, let's clear out the things in the coming slides. So how these can still be tackled or can be overcome. So let's move on to the next part, which is like how pirates record the live content. So yeah, when we look at the things, the major or the simplest thing whenever there is no DRM or anything applied, the pirates just go about getting the hold of the M3 URL, which is a HLS streaming link or the dash MPD streaming links, and then they directly download from the CDNs. So this has actually additional cost on the CDN also, where unauthorized people are downloading the content and causing a cost to them. So next is the way they do is like the screen recording. So this is a very popular technique where we used to do a screen recording, capture the live playback. With DRM, it gets prevented, but there are some loopholes or some ways wherein the software DRM may not be that capable, and there could be some vulnerabilities as and when there are upgrades of the new versions of the software. So that is a second popular thing. Then the third one is like the HTCP thing. So bypass the HTCP. So most of them are trying to look for the high content. So in case of the DRM is very protective, but they have some sort of hardware wherein the HTCP can be bypassed and the output can be recorded. So that is a third thing. And the final way is of like the DRM token vulnerabilities. That is one of the most challenging thing that is coming up. So where the DRM tokens are hijacked and from different devices and used to play the content and remove the decrypted clear content out of the device and then share it across. So these are the major ways how the contents are being pirated from live or VOD. Yeah, so let's move on to the next part. So, what is the right way of doing it? So, we talked about the traditional way, the flaws of it, the consequence. So, what is the right way of doing it? So, here we will talk about the four things. So, that we call as a 360-degree at PallyCon, which is the anti-piracy to be used, then the forensic DRM, and followed by the forensic watermark and the app security. So when I talk about these four things, how does this help? So each of them. So let's talk about the anti-piracy. So anti-piracy, most of them know that where the contents are available, the process goes on like first is like crawling, identifying, then there's a takedown mechanism, there's a blocking, all those things. So apart from that DRM, as I mentioned, so if it's a the DRM technology provider vendor is on top of the latest vulnerabilities and he has patched all those things. So that is the right way of doing it. So go for the vendor who provides you the maximum benefit, like he could be blocking the piracy, the token hijacking, then let's say about the CDN leaching, then the famous one like the password sharing, and a few things like wherever the contents are being recorded from the L3s, so blocking those things, and even sort of a blacklist wherein like you identify the pirates and you want to block him from stealing few more contents. So does your vendor provide? So these are the main features that DRM content providers should provide. And even if it is provided, and let's say like the HTCP one, so that is beyond this DRM part where the hardware are tweaked to steal the content from there. So in that case, the forensic watermark is the one that helps to pinpoint exactly from which user ID or from where the content was stolen. And once this information is available, then there are different ways to prevent the pirates from taking the further advantage of it, like block him through the DRM keys, so he does not get DRM keys, and as a result, he is not able to play the content. He's removed from the CMS system as well. His user IDs, his cards, everything is blocked. So that is an effective way. And then last, when you talk about app security, so what is this app security? Now the trend is like everybody watches the content on the mobiles or the handheld devices. So the security on this has become a challenge and increasing rapidly. We see that more of the vendors OTT are looking for this, and even some of them in some countries they are trying to put it as norm as well. So the app security we have seen where the customer said we don't use the browser and all, and we are very secure with the app, but we have seen there are vulnerabilities there as well, and we have come up with an innovative solution wherein the contents, the data, everything is encrypted and protected. And we have some success stories as well around this where the customer has implemented these features and the contents are secure, and they have seen very less number of revenue loss, and the brand has gone up. Also the sign-ups have increased. So this is the advantage of doing all these four products, which is a 360-degree solution. And let's look about the next part, like is this really a expensive way? I would say not at all. So in the previous if you ask me this question 4 5 years back when I was in this field, yes, at that time it was a very premium service, and it used to be in like millions or 100,000 Ks and all dollars. But now it's not the case. Now the prices have been reduced a lot, and this has been made affordable as well as it's made much more simpler. So let's do a small ROI calculation. So that's how we did it for one of our vendor. So what he did a anti-piracy thing, and they found wherever the contents are available, how many subscribers were there. Okay, then they got to know, okay, if from this bulk around say let's say 100K subscribers were there on the pirated websites, how about converting few of them to using the products, the content protection products. So this is the check quantum of piracy, and then we identify how many contents can be converted. So this gives a roughly an idea by deploying these products what are the revenue can be generated. Next, the application of the DRM and forensic watermarking and app security, all the three things together. Then again calculate the ROI, see how the piracy anyway will be doing a monitoring every on the background, and then we can see that the piracy gets reduced with all those things applied, and it makes harder for the pirates to steal the content and monetize it. And yes, so watermark, the robust one where it cannot be tampered, or even if they do a transcoding and lock to digital this thing changes, so those things are still being identified. So that sort of robust watermarking should be available. Then check the ROI, and you will feel that yes, it was worth investing it. So we had the success stories where customer did went through all those things and did ROI and got it. Then one more interesting thing is like when the anti-piracy is deployed, we know that we get to know that where the contents are being pirated. That is one thing, and we will get to know with advanced analytics that which region are interested in that content. For example, if the content might be produced in country A, but let's say the pirates are watching in country B, where the geo restriction was there, maybe because of other thing, then the OTT vendor can think of like why not open the OTT service with a dubbed service for them as well. That is also has taken place in few of the cases where they identified okay their contents are popular in some other region, so they dubbed their content and relaunched the product over there. So this is a very insightful thing when the anti-piracy is deployed. So yeah, so looking at this, I don't think it's a very right expensive way with few $100 we spent, and then we gain attraction and become more popular with the contents. Yeah, let's move on to the next part of it, like the use case and the case studies. So yeah, the use cases. So let's see as a simple use case of the multi-DRM. So when a multi-DRM of a robust one is deployed, what are the things? The customer comes onto the OTT platform, he purchases a subscription, say for 1 month or a year or something, and he watched the high quality content. It could be a 4K content or with the advanced audio and other things like that, and he would be sure that this content is not available anywhere else. So if the content is the DRM is strong enough, the pirates will not be able to steal it from the CDN, as I mentioned, or able to re-record it from the using the vulnerabilities or other things. So this way, it's the multi DRM puts a break onto the piracy. We have seen that where the DRM was not deployed, the content, though it was on only one platform, were being stolen and put into like shorts and onto the social media platforms and everywhere. And then it becomes a headache to do a takedown everywhere else. But if with a strong and a robust multi DRM, this becomes much difficult for the pirates to steal the content. Yeah. Next, look about the next use case, so which is about all the three products: the forensic watermark, DRM, and anti-piracy. So yeah, as I mentioned, like the contents when it is being streamed at the server side. So server side itself, a unique watermark is uh, applied and streamed. So now let's say a hacker buys a subscription and gets hold of the pirated content, and he starts publishing it across the web. So then the anti-piracy is the thing that will come into picture, and what it will do, it will crawl around all the websites wherever the keywords, the contents are available, and identify. Then the contents would be downloaded and then fed into a auto detection mechanism where the videos which are available on the pirated sites are automatically traced, and the user information is extracted. Once the user information is extracted, then it becomes an easier task to block them out of the complete ecosystem of the playback. It could be a DRM blockage, and it could be at the CMS level as well. So with this blocking, yes, the current content also will be taken down, and the further piracy will also be prevented. So yeah, but these things changes when we go for the live. So let's look at the live scenarios where in a live streaming, the sports or an event, very important events are being streamed. Just something similar to the Olympics, where we had also monitored when the contents are being streamed, they would get a hold of the live streaming feedback and then restream it on their own private networks and or lower subscription models. So the anti-piracy, we would have identified the URLs where the contents are available, do the analysis of the watermark, identify the user, and there are advanced mechanism in the CDN itself where the streaming, each streaming is has a session. Those sessions can be blocked right away. So this will cause a disruption, and eventually the contents which is being pirated and watched by the illegitimate users, they have to eventually fall back onto the and buying the subscription from the legal the right OTT platform. So we have seen that this was a very effective way, and many of them are trying to go for this model in the sports arena. Yeah, so this is all the overview that we have from the PallyCon team, other things. So yeah, let me hand over the things to, yeah, there's one more use case, interesting one about the app selling. So at Pelicon, we had the another product called as app selling, which is the mobile protection. So as I was mentioning that when the contents are just say it's limited to the mobiles. So and the contents, what happens is like apps are published onto the Play Store or iOS Store, and the hacker downloads the content, removes, does a reverse engineering, creates a mod APK out of it, and then recirculates the mod APK through different channels. So Anti-Piracy can identify those mod APKs as well, and then what we can do is like block those versions of the APK and repackage it with an uh, encryption sort of thing, stronger encryption, and then relaunch it on the App Store so that it blocks the hijackers from reverse engineering and modifying the APK. So this has helped many of the edutech customers as well, even the OTT vendors, where they could secure their applications to a very great extent. Yeah. So that's all from the PallyCon side. Yeah. Now let me hand over to Ashish for the next part from the movie. Yeah. Thanks everyone.
Thanks, Harish, for explaining everything in details. Hello, everyone. So, Movie has been working with PallyCon since last 4 years. It's a very long time. With our joint collaborations, we have explored many loopholes in piracy and their protections. During this long period, we have defined a concrete mechanism to protect our resources of our actually valuable customers. Movie supports video DRMs, audio DRMs, DRM for live streamings, and all of are supported with industry standard multi-DRM technologies like Widevine, PlayReady, and FairPlay. In advance, we support all the encryption schemes such as CENC, CBCS, CTR, AS128, Sample AES. Movie has recently introduced multi-DRM encryptions with CMAP formats. For your information, CMAP is a new format where both Dash and HLS shares a single source. It's so extensible and supports advanced encryption schemes and techniques. At Movie, we always prioritize data and its security. Hence, we support all the Pelican's modules like forensic watermarking, anti-piracy tools, app sealings. However, some are readily available and some can be customizable as per the different business requirement. Piracy and protection, these are actually getting very, very high stack nowadays. At present, screen capture and unauthorized download prevention is a big issue in entire streaming industry. Movie supports end-to-end protections for screen capture and download preventions in Widevine L1 supported devices and in entire Apple ecosystems. As a future roadmap, we are continuously working hard to optimize our engines as per the current industry trends. Movie ensures complete 360-degree solutions, including content protections, data security, network and infrastructure security. So this is next slide. Yeah, here's the movie ecosystems. So we support 16 plus ecosystems, including Apple, Android, popular TVs, casting devices, and in all popular web browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and Edge. At last, I want to end my slide by saying at Movie, we always focus on preventing resources of our customers and try our 200% to serve best protection and security available in the industry. Thank you. Sivasis, over to you.
Thank you, Harish, and thank you, Ashis, for this interesting presentation. I'm sure our audiences learned a lot from it and are quite excited to ask a lot of questions. But before we move on to the Q&A, I would ask our audiences to fill up another poll that should be visible on the screens now. All right, while you fill up the poll, I'll just start with the Q&As that I've been receiving. Okay, so the first question is now anyone of you both, Harish and Ashis, anyone of you both can take the questions. So the first question is coming from Anuj, and Anuj wants to know that CMF is a new format and currently evolving in the market. So could you please elaborate what encryption schemes do you use with the CMAF format?
Uh, Sivas, I would like to answer this. For CMAP, we are using actually CVCS encryption schemes. So as you know, currently in MPD, in Dash, CENC is mostly supported, but CVCS is more secure. So we are using CVCS for the CMI format for both Dash and HLS.
I hope this answers your question, Anuj. The next question is coming from Paul, and Paul wants to know, suppose I have some 4K content and I want to protect HD plus resolutions only. Standard resolutions can be played as it is. Is there any customization option available at movie for the same?
Yes, customizations are available. Like it will work like see, your HD content will be encrypted, um, like widevine with widevine L3 protections, and rest of the HD versions will be encrypted with L1 protections. So in that case, the HD will be remain less secure, but it can be supported in most of the platforms. But for the HD, you need specific devices like L1 supported devices. But your HD and plus versions are more secure in that case. I mean, it will be 100% foolproof for the L1 devices, L1 supported devices.
Yeah, I hope this answers your question, Paul. We have another question coming from Sajiv, and that is, can the forensic watermark prevent content from being streamed on sites that depend on advertising?
So, forensic watermark, as mentioned, so it would help to trace from where the contents have been pirated. It will not be help to prevent. So even with the camera or something, they can do the recording, but that particular user information would be embedded inside the video, which helps to track down, but not the prevention as such.
Okay, I hope this answers your question, Sajiv. And Harish, we have another question from the same guest, and that is, can any of the methods mentioned prevent camera copy privacy?
And nothing as such exists as of now, because camera has a different standards. So even if we provide some bits onto the video that is detected by camera not to record, there are ways to bypass those things and still do those recordings. So this has been issue not from here, like it was, I still remember the DVD days as well. So we were thinking, is there a way to have a discussion with the camera manufacturers and put some bit and say, okay, these are protected contents but not to record. That's not the case. So the cameras will still record whatever being screened.
Okay, I hope this answers your question, Sajiv. We have another question coming. That's from some user ID, and that question, I'll just read out the question. So, how you ensure the stream URL will not be captured by specialized download managers like the IDM, which is very popular?
Yeah. So interesting question. So recently we have come up with some sort of double sort of encryption thing, wherein let's say if they have got hold of the URLs and the tokens as well. So those are like one time. They cannot be reused it. One part of it. Another thing is if they are trying to use it from other devices, the request would be rejected for the playing it. So there are some sort of additional protection or the mechanism that we have deployed using which this the capturing things is not possible anymore.
Haris, I want to add, like we actually apply code obfuscation where your actually URL is also obfuscated. So it's impossible via the specialized download software. So they cannot claim actually. I mean, they
Yeah, that
cannot
that is
capture.
one thing, Ashish. But still, we have seen that those are obfuscated. Also, there are open source other tools also where they try to identify the CDN link
Correct,
back
correct, yeah.
using the network
But
traffic and
in
other things.
most of the cases, they are secure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, there are geo restrictions and other thing applied from the
correct,
CDN side as well that do help to a larger extent.
correct, yeah.
We have another question coming, and that's from Gilbert, and he wants to know, can you please elaborate how do you handle offline playback in Android and Apple app for the DRM protected content?
Yeah, I would like to answer this, Sivasis. We actually store the license with the persistent license with the offline stream in the device itself, so it can easily be played.
Okay, I hope this answers your question, Gilbert. That's all the Q&A for today. As we come close to today's webinar, I want to take a moment to extend my heartfelt thanks to our esteemed guests, Harish and Ashish. Your insights and expertise have been invaluable in deepening our understanding of the advanced video piracy issues and how we can protect them and make better OTT streaming platforms. Thank you to both of you for taking out time and joining us in this thoughtful conversation. Your participation has indeed made this session truly enriching and informative, and we look forward to having both of you again on some interesting industry topics.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Shivashish. Thank you,
And
Ashis.
to all our audiences, Movie keeps conducting such informative webinars on interesting industry topics. And also to showcase some of best movie offerings, I would personally request you all to keep a lookout for the link and information about the next webinar on our social media channels and also on the webinar section of our website. Till then, have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.